Oh no, he's always getting on my ass about like if I say things he considers degenerate.
Yes. Like talking about putting things in your asshole. Yeah, like I would say probably avoid
Why
things
do I
like
do that? Wait, what do I put in my ass?
You want me to put stuff in your asshole? I mean, okay, but
What do I talk about putting in my asshole?
I don't know. I'm just using it as an example.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
123
One, two,
Tyler.
three, Tyler. What's up, man?
Hey guys, what's up? Nothing much.
We are AnCaps.
Are you familiar? We are AnCaps. Are you familiar with AnCaps?
No, what's that?
ANCAP is short for anarcho-capitalism, which means anarcho, referencing anarchy, that there is no state, and then capitalism, where you have free markets based on private property rights, where you have free competition in the provision of goods and services by competing businesses.
Yes.
So instead of having a government, you have all things being provided by the free market.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I've never heard of that. So
It's pretty dope.
You're libertarian.
Well, so libertarianism is a moral philosophy. It says you shouldn't initiate force against people in their property. And anarcho-capitalism is kind of the system, the economic system that consistently following a libertarian moral philosophy will naturally land you at.
Okay, cool.
Any questions? Such as who will build the roads or what protects me from criminality?
Who's going to build the roads?
Yeah, who builds the roads?
All right, I'm glad you asked. Great question.
that's a good question.
Think about how a shopping mall works, right? Say I'm a private developer. I build a mall. The reason I build a mall is I can derive a profit from it. The way I derive a profit, I don't get paid with taxes to build a mall. Malls are not funded by taxes generally. And I'm also not charging a toll to go in the mall. You don't have to pay to go in the mall. I want you to go in. It's free. I make money from building a mall because the foot traffic which the mall invites is saleable to businesses that are interested in that foot traffic. So they will pay rent to operate in the mall, and they'll pay for utilities and stuff. So scale it up. Now roads make sense. I build a road. In order to profit from my road, I charge businesses rent to operate on my road, lot connection rent to operate on my road. And I can also, on my own road, I can sell utilities. I can set up water lines and power lines and so on, and then profit off that as well.
Yep.
So it's kind of just like a scaled up shopping mall. And I like this very much. I think this is a better system than we have now. Because in this case, you have competition between the builders of roads to provide a road that's going to be maximally attractive. That means both in terms of where the road is placed and in terms of how it's built. How many lanes should it have? What should be the rules of traffic?
What's going on? We're AnCaps.
Who's going to build rural roads?
So rural roads, basically, the more rural an area is, the less roads it's likely to have. And that's true now, by the way. I think that in the case of a very rural road, where it doesn't make sense to fund it with gas stations and Cracker Barrels and motels and billboards and so on, just because it's that remote, we're talking way out in the desert. At that point, we're probably talking about a toll. But the more remote you get, the more likely you are to have a toll. But if you're totally urban, then having a toll there, unless it's a very low elasticity road, having a toll there is probably a breach of contract with the businesses on the road who want to ensure that you're not going to be repelling traffic from their business by, setting up a toll that deters drivers.
If I could add in a small point, for rural areas, HOAs can do a lot of the jobs. Like paving the roads and fixing roads and things like that. As well.
I don't think by rural we were talking about like a small town, and like I live in Keystone Heights, Florida. We would call that rural, but I don't think that's what he meant. I think he meant more like we're talking out in the mountains and shit, like where there's not a town. In that case, you wouldn't have an HOA, but I think for that,
I was assuming it meant like a cul-de-sac or something like that, but I guess I was wrong about that.
Right.
Well, people could just build their own roads. People could just build their own roads using you know, a shovel.
How's your business going?
My business?
Yeah.
It's going great.
Awesome. Do you have a business? Taxation is theft?
I'm building an online casino, but what the hell kind of derail is this?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, it's just... I'm just curious. I'm of the opinion that your political beliefs should reflect your material conditions, right? So like if you're a business owner, you should support things that support business. Or if you're a rich person, you should support conservative politics. Or if you're a poor person, you should support poor politics. That's kind of my MO.
I support libertarianism.
Given that you
That would
both
seem to
have
imply
business,
a degree of this kind of polylogism would seem to imply a kind of an intellectual dishonesty, not necessarily on your part, but on part of people who are doing as you say. For instance, all right, I'm not rich. Right now I'm poor. What you would generally call poor politics, however, I know based on my grasp of economics to be wrong. That is to say, many would probably consider poor politics things like wealth redistribution and socialization of services and a big welfare state. And I know, regardless of what my personal interest may seem to be, I know that these things are counterproductive and ultimately lead to worst material conditions, not just for the broader population, but for myself.
could you
And
give,
it would seem
what would be an example of that? Just out of curiosity.
an example would be socialized medicine.
Right. Such as?
That's
Medicaid, Medicare.
such as a scenario where doctors and medicine are being funded by taxation and government rather than being done on the market.
That's definitely not good.
I think it's a good thing.
That's a terrible thing.
It's a good from the perspective of certain people. It's a good thing from the perspective of government and those surrounding government and certain people within the healthcare sector and various stages of bureaucrats and so forth. Yeah, like they benefit from it. Those are the beneficiaries. I don't think it's better for, the common man or the poor man for that, in terms of quality or cost.
I think it is. I think it's better to have access to some medicine than to not be able to afford it, which currently
Notice
is
that's
the option.
that dichotomy is a very different thing than what I had said, though. I didn't say it's better if people can't afford medicine. Of course, that's a terrible, indefensible position. Mm-hmm. What I said is I don't think medicine should be socialized, but I reject the premise that the alternative to medicine being socialized is medicine being unaffordable. I should note what I do not regard the situation we have in the United States as being the logical alternative to socialized medicine. What we have in the United States is nothing remotely resembling a free market.
Okay. So, well, then the free market failed in America.
We don't have the free market in America. We're not allowed to have the free market in America. The closest we've had to a free market in America, the closest we have had to the free market in America when it came to healthcare was in the 1800s. And during the 1800s, healthcare, including things that exist now, such as certain surgical procedures that existed back then, as well as simply going to a doctor for a checkup and having a doctor facilitate a childbirth and so on, these things costed a tiny fraction, to the tune of, I believe it's in the thousands of percent. We actually talked to Cithis, you may remember this. Maybe you remember the figure. We actually quantified this a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did. I remember.
It was thousands of percentage points cheaper. And that's adjusting for inflation, by the way. No, I think you listened to it the next day.
Do you mind if I jump in here?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Basically, the issue with the United States healthcare is we've put a lot of restrictions on the supply of doctors as well as medical procedures as well as medication by putting in a whole bunch of regulations and obstacles in the way of new drugs being created and distributed. So we have patent laws that make it illegal for people to copy. We've put patent laws that make it illegal for people to copy other people's drugs, making it making the only monopoly, giving monopolies to companies who first create their their drugs. Then we also limit the amount of doctors that are allowed to get a licensure in the United States. We limit the health insurance
why?
companies. I don't know. That's the state. Yeah, it's the state. So there's another thing. Wait, can you allow me to? Wait, what's up with all the interruptions, dude? I'm not even finished, man.
Okay,
so
you tell me when.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was that we limit the amount of doctors that are allowed to get licensure within the United States. We also don't allow other doctors from other countries to practice medicine within the United States. That's basically, they have to get a licensure on their own. Not only that, but we have licensures in the first place, making it, and we have we put really high barriers of entry in order to get a license, which makes it extremely expensive to get a license. So all of those things in combination makes healthcare extremely expensive. And then once the government comes in and subsidizes it, it doesn't increase the supply of medicine, doctors, and all the things that are needed in order to bring the price down. All it does is it makes it people more able to afford what's there, thus making it so that there's an even fewer amount to go around, thus increasing the prices even more. That's what happens when you subsidize any good or service, or whenever the state subsidizes any good or service. It ends up making it more expensive in the long run.
And to supplement what Sithis said and try to answer this why question, I assume the question is, why do these measures exist? Why is the state doing these things which shackle the market? I assume that's what you mean by why.
Yeah.
I think the answer to that in general, not just when it comes to healthcare, the answer to that in general will usually be found in following the money. That is to say, who benefits from this? And in the case of healthcare regulations, it's very clear. You have a very small oligopoly of dominant healthcare providers in the form of big pharma and the duopoly, or what was very close to a duopoly of health insurance providers, encompassing hundreds of millions of people, many, many billions of dollars. And through an ocean, a vast plethora of regulatory shackles, as well as patents and many other things, in the case of big pharma specifically, they're able to dominate. So regulation is loved by nobody more than he who can afford it. If I can buy a regulator, I can impose costs onto my smaller competitors that they cannot afford. It's much more of a hindrance for them. I can leverage economies of scale and push past the diseconomy of scale point through enormous subsidies. That is to say, I can impose onerous costs onto them that compensate, in a sense, for the advantage they would naturally have by my diseconomy of scale, and I can compel the taxpayer to subsidize my own inefficiency. And so this creates a very dominant position for a very small handful of providers. It creates an oligopoly situation, which turns some people into billionaires. So the reason why they do this is because it creates billionaires. And obviously those who stand to become billionaires, or become billionaires that have more billions than they otherwise did. They're able to grease those wheels. What?
So to summarize your point, it's profitable. Like it is mega profitable to do all this stuff, to have these laws, to have this lobbying, to rig the market. A free market is actually less profitable for these people than to rig it.
Yes. Now, I operate from the baseline framework that anything that any government does is always going to be for profit. That's the way of the world.
Can you have my drink?
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I want to try this one.
You can try.
Well,
interesting tasting.
Thank you.
Sweet. No other questions.
Yeah. Also, like when you have a free market, you don't have a state with the power of force in order to stop people from competing with other businesses. Whereas, under a state, people can sort of bribe the state to put in laws that can benefit them and allow them to get ahead of other people. Whenever you have a state which has the power to extract wealth and has a monopoly on force, the people who wield that power are all too incentivized to use that power to gain for themselves. I mean, if you look at all these politicians in the government, a lot of them are rich. I mean, how did they become rich from working in the government? You know,
And they become. And
what does that tell you?
Richer after they become richer after leaving office.
Yeah, I mean, what does that tell you? They're taking advantage of their power.
Yeah, they've buttered the right bread, and of course, notoriously, there is a revolving door between things like the FDA and big pharma and shit like that. A guy graduate or is tenure of his regulatory position. He's got a nice executive position within this within a major pharmaceutical corporation.
Absolutely 100% absolutely corrupt. It's corrupt from top to bottom.
Absolutely.
That's why it must be abolished.
100% abolished. It can't be reformed. Reform cannot fix the problem.
So you're with us now. You're an AnCap now. Hey.
Oh no, I'm not an AnCap, but I am definitely anti current state.
Yeah, but you just gotta take the next step and come with us.
See, I think that government takes the innate drive of humans to be self-interested or as some would say, greedy, and mechanizes that into the most unspeakably evil behaviors imaginable. Whereas on the free market, in the absence of the state, greed is our friend. That is to say, I know that sounds very dirty to think, but the way you prosper and get yourself rich on a free market is by providing a good or service to people that brings a benefit to their life more so than what they are paying to you. That it's worth more to them than what they're giving to you. And similarly, the other people involved, the people that are selling you the inputs, the people that are selling you labor and so on, you're providing a greater benefit to them. That's why we have currency. That's about the problem of barter. On a free market, you're benefiting everybody in the process of getting you rich. The consumer, the worker, the input provider, everyone you're making them better off. Otherwise, they would not voluntarily participate in the transaction. They would decline the deal. Now, with government, you can become one of the wealthiest imaginable people, by getting a big beefy government contract where the government is not necessarily providing something that people value more than it costs. They can just take people's money forcibly and allocate it arbitrarily in the name of political interests, be it prisons, be it for-profit warmongering, blowing up brown children on the other side of the world. Things that are not of productive economic value to people, at least by any expression of consumer preference through spending. And you can become very wealthy in the process. You got your Lockheed Martin types. Or for that matter, you can, as we discussed earlier, you can take markets that are of productive value, things like healthcare, but you can completely fucking rig them just through state coercion. So that is to say, all of this to say, I think on the free market, the greedier people are, the better off everybody is. But with government, the greedier some people are, the more we are all to be trampled and impoverished.
Yeah, greed is not necessarily a bad thing. It just depends on the ends it's trying to achieve. If you're being greedy and you're achieving an end that makes everyone else better off, well, then that's a good thing. And from my point of view.
Well, if you had to pick between, how would you describe the society that we live in?
Crony capitalism.
Okay.
I like to just say cronyism.
Or cronyism,
in America,
yeah.
I would say we have about 25% crony socialism and 75% crony capitalism. What?
If you had to pick between preserving the status quo and a non-capitalist revolutionary movement, so a revolutionary movement that was anti-capitalist, would you still preserve the status quo? Right? Is it better to
I would much rather be living in modern America than North Korea or the Soviet Union or Mao's China or Pol Pot's Cambodia or something, or Cuba or something. So yeah, I would way rather modern America than any of those.
Yeah, I think I
if you're
prefer right
talking
now.
about, I mean, I do like, as you can see, look, I'm fat. I do like to eat. So,
Right.
I think, by the way, human greed. There's this kind of, I consider it a trope, kind of a commie wives' tale, that greed was eliminated in the Soviet Union. Under Mother Russia. Look, the way greed manifested in the Soviet Union is neighbors lying to the KGB about neighbors, and getting those neighbors sent to a work camp where they would likely die in Siberia in order to gain special political favor, in order to gain extra resources, things like toilet paper and shit. You would turn on people that trusted you. There was a saying in the USSR. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, like, who told you that?
Mike Tizani, or I should call him Dmitry Tizani, which he grew up in the Soviet Union. He's a friend of mine.
He was there, bro.
He actually was there. He was not himself in Holodomor. He wasn't born yet at the time of Holodomor, but he came from Ukraine, and his grandparents were in Holodomor. I always say it wrong. I've mostly seen it written.
I'm pretty sure it's Holodomor, if I'm not mistaken.
Why?
What?
Why does? What I don't understand is, why does America like sanction these countries like Cuba or North Korea? If I
The
think
embargoes and shit.
yeah, like because for example, their society is like, as we all obviously know, socialism will just implode on itself if allowed to manifest. So just let them implode on themselves. You don't have to embargo them. You don't
I
have
agree.
to see.
Yeah,
I'm against
I-
embargoes.
You don't
It's
have
totally
to like
wrong.
send.
Yeah,
You don't
it's-
have to send coups to Cuba, for example. You don't have to do like Bay of Pigs. You don't have to intervene in Vietnam or try to undermine China, because it'll just undermine itself.
I agree with you, and I'm totally against the United States imposing embargoes and sanctions on other countries. I think the reason that it does that, it basically has to do with geopolitical posturing. The United States trying to be the dominant world power. Are you going to sleep?
No.
The United States trying to be a dominant world power and prevent any potential, socialist alliance of other countries banding together and becoming
I think they're just
more
jealous.
powerful militarily.
But it doesn't matter, because it'll just implode on itself, because socialism always fails.
100%.
Yeah, so there's
Well-
no point trying to stop a socialist alliance, because socialism will never work. So
Well,
you
it's not
should
good for
never
the
even
people
try
who
to-
are
you don't
living
even-
under it,
you don't-
though.
It's a waste of resources to try and even stop them.
Government is
Well-
notorious for wasting resources. In my book, that's all they do.
That's why it should be
I don't
abolished.
expect the government to be operating as if controlled by a panel of Austrian school economists. I expect government to largely be a bunch of morons. They often are. I believe that if you go back to when a lot of these kinds of things began, embargoes and sanctions on the USSR, we're talking 1950s, 1960s, Red Scare. And look, socialism does inevitably, if we're talking full-blown socialism, where you don't have any factor prices, you don't have anything resembling a market economy, it does inevitably implode on itself. But it doesn't happen overnight. You don't run out of other people's money immediately.
I'm sensing
you can have
I'm sensing a
have
bit
decades-
of a bit of anti-capitalist rhetoric from you, Calidor.
Well, no shit. But
What's up with that, bro? What's wrong with capitalism, man?
I want to hold my phone up like this. You can if you want.
What do you mean? I'm saying that socialism fails and that we shouldn't stop it because it fails. That we shouldn't actively target communists, that we shouldn't go after socialists, that we should oppose government crackdowns on these movements, and also the international efforts of these people. Like, I don't understand.
It'll take like
So you're
Being
with us, man.
anti-government-
So you're
being
with us?
anti-government. Pardon?
So does that mean you're with us?
This or that one?
I'm going for it. My
I feel like you're with us, bro. Have you ever read Rothbard or heard of Rothbard?
Yeah, I think, is he the guy that said that there should be a flourishing market of children?
Yes, but that sounds a lot worse than it is.
Yeah.
All right, he's not talking.
Sorry.
He doesn't mean like fucking child thieves or some shit. He's talking about a market in adoption. So imagine the following scenario. Actually, Rothbard referenced this scenario. You have affluent New York adoptive parents who want to adopt a baby, and they're infertile or gay or something, right? And you've got poor Greek parents in Greece who have biologically created a child, but they can't afford that child. So what happens is the affluent New York parents pay a large sum of money to the Greek parents in order to adopt that child from them and then raise that child as their own. Now, you could say superficially, it's like selling a child. Sure, okay, that feels dirty, but we're not talking about ownership like you can enslave the kid.
It's not really selling a child, okay? In other words, what it actually is what you're doing is you're selling the right to adopt the kid. So if, let's say you're a mother, you don't want the kid and somebody else wants it, you're selling the right to take care of it or be the guardian over it.
So if Jeffrey Epstein wants to adopt a child, he has lots of money, so he can adopt lots of children. You know what I mean?
Well, he could do that now. The only difference is
would be willing.
Let me just say this one last thing: is the only difference is that as of right now, and under how we would view it, is that people would be allowed to sell that right, or as of right now, it's illegal to sell that right.
Sorry, it would be legal to sell that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is saying it should be legal whether you're their adoptive parent or not. Nobody's saying it should be legal to like enslave and rape children and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked.
Obviously, if somebody's slaving or raping a child, they forfeit any right they may have gained by buying stewardship.
Well, what laws exist? Like who writes the laws? Who determines the laws?
People within the state.
So the way that generally works. No, he means within AnCaps society.
Okay.
Within an anarcho-capitalist framework, the way law is decided is by arbitrators. So the way it works is I've got my insurance company, which is also my rights enforcement provider. If I need, help from police or something, that's who I would call. They would send theirs. And you've got yours. And let's say you commit some act of violence or something against me. You burn my house down or whatever. I call up my rights enforcement company, my insurer, and they sell both indemnification of me and my property and physical protection of them. They'll send officers to my location and stuff. So
there's no universal laws. It's just like in this, you are a person, you are in this territory, and these are the company policies.
No, not territory. It's not jurisdictional. There's no jurisdiction. There's no territory. The way let me explain how it works. So I have my rights enforcement provider. You have yours. You commit a crime against me, right? I have Geico. You have Allstate. I call up Geico, say, hey, this guy committed a crime against me, or someone did. They investigate. They find it looks like you did it. They then want to extract resources from you to compensate me and themselves because they had to pay out a claim. But your rights enforcement company says, whoa, what? Not our client. He's an angel. He wouldn't do anything like that. We don't want to let you take anything from him. Both companies have lots of guys with guns, and they're at an impasse. So what do? Well, the obvious logical thing they could do is go to war, but that is the most expensive possible thing they could do, and companies generally prefer to do not the most expensive possible thing. So what they actually do, and historically essentially always have done in these kinds of situations, is they bring the matter before a third-party arbitrator. That's like a company that sells the service of dispute resolution, a private court. And whatever court agreed to between my company and yours is the company that decides the law in our case. And then there are some policies that do effectively become universal. For instance, this is true across the Brehon system of medieval Ireland, the Zir system of medieval Somalia. This was true within the slightly less formal system of arbitration they had in Zalmia, as well as the systems they had in the Old West. Murder is illegal. Murder is not allowed. Robbery is not allowed. Rape is not allowed. But then there are some areas
Well, what if I just like?
where
But can't I just bribe the arbitration people?
well, you could do that more easily now. I'm not saying it's impossible in Ancapistan. Ancapistan is like the name of a theoretical ANCAP society. I'm not saying you couldn't, but in the Ancapistan scenario, if there's no government, it's a free market in courts. Bribing them means for them a massive risk to their professional reputation. If they are known to be a court that looks like they might be taking bribes because these outcomes don't look right, that something doesn't smell right, then they're going to repel potential disputants. They're dependent on getting both sides to a given dispute for each of their cases. They're not going to get both sides if they appear corrupt. And even the richer party
that would be a great business. Like, hey, we're a court that you can just pay to get verdicts. Like, that's perfect. Like, that's a great selling point.
That wouldn't work because the other party to the dispute would never agree to that court. It has to be one that both will agree to. Otherwise, it's pointless. So, what basically a private arbitrator is caught taking bribes, they could go out of business. And there we have private arbitration. We have private arbitration in the modern world. The only statistics, by the way, I have historically tried to find any data pertaining to the levels of corruption between private arbitrators versus government. The only thing that I have been able to find on this is surveys that were conducted in Russia, where they have both private arbitration and government courts, where a large sample of Russians were simply asked, because they actually use private arbitration a lot there, they were asked to decide whether they consider private courts more corrupt, private arbitrators more corrupt and bribable, or government courts. And the overwhelming majority said they considered government courts more bribable. I realize this is not the strongest data, and I don't have much empirical evidence beyond that.
But what are they? So it would just be whatever laws you want to subscribe, like what you and someone else agrees to, then you're going to go
whatever kind of. So it applies to on a larger scale than that, because all right, I choose what insurance company I will subscribe to. The insurance company decides what courts it will agree to with other insurance companies. They'll agree to it between. So if I have agreed to Geico, you have agreed to Allstate, and Allstate and Geico have agreed to the American Arbitration Association, then that means that me and you, if we dispute with each other, the law is decided by the American Arbitration Association.
Yeah, but what if I don't have insurance? What if I just decide not to have insurance? What are you going to do?
So there's a few options for that. Of course, that's allowed, maybe ill-advised, but it is allowed. There's no one to stop you from doing that. That is. You can always subscribe to a firm at the point of need. Of course, it's going to cost you more. It's kind of like hiring somebody to put out a fire that's already going versus hiring somebody to agree that they'll put out a fire should one arise. Very different. But you could hire someone to deal with it right now. In the case of justice, you have claim subrogation. I commit a crime against you. I beat you up. I call you a slut. I rape you. And I commit a crime against you. And you don't like that, but you don't have an insurer. You go to a firm. You provide whatever evidence you can. If it looks legit to us, or to that firm, they will buy your claim of restitution from you. It's transferable. Let's say the standard penalty for such a crime in our society is about $100,000. Then you would go to them and they will buy the claim from you for, say, $60,000, right? So you're getting 60 grand. They prosecute the case. They get 100 grand. So they've profited $40,000. That's a totally viable business model. It's actually been done before in England, where claims of restitution were transferable. And that was a means by which the poor could get justice without having to already have the services of legal professionals.
Yeah, but that was that in an
ANCAP? And there's a lot of pieces of theoretical anarcho-capitalism that have existed not within ANCAP systems, but are simply proof of concept that this model works. It wasn't something bolstered up by the state or necessitating the state.
Well,
it was
there's
just proof of
Prospera
concept
today.
What if I'm just like, But what if you send me the letter of summons and I just ignore it? I'm on my private property.
Then
My
look,
private
yeah.
property.
Look, that's not like some get out of jail free card. You can't just go around and murder people and expect, well, if I just ignore the summons. But it's not actually a summons. They can't force you to go to court. It's just that if you don't go to court, you're not going to be there to argue your case. If you're not taking the legal route, that is, if you're not being amenable to arbitration, that means nobody's going to back you. You're not going to have an insurer willing to supplement forces to be able to protect you from the rest of the market's insurers. So you're on your own. And at that point, we can just come take your property as restitution, and you have no recourse for that. So it's highly advised that you participate in the legal system in the event of a dispute.
Say I'm the richest. Someone is going to be the richest person in this land.
Of course, yes.
Say I'm the richest person. Couldn't I just say, come and try? Like, come and try to take my stuff? Like, literally, I have
you
a
could
whole
say that.
army. I can buy a whole army.
Yes, you can buy an army, but realistically, that army is a tiny pipsqueak. No matter how rich you are, that army is a tiny pipsqueak compared to the entire saturation of the society's demand for protection. The only scenario where that's not true is if, let's say, Elon Musk goes to like a third world country, where he is richer than everybody in the entire right. So yeah, in that scenario, then by the way, this is equally true if there's a government there. He'd buy that government.
But the thing is, right, what I could do is I could be the CEO of the insurance company. And what I could do is I could wait till I outcompete all the other insurance companies. And then I have the biggest insurance company and I have the biggest military. And so when I commit crimes, good luck trying to take me down. You would need a coalition of all the other insurance companies if they still exist.
That's exactly what you get. That's exactly where I was going next. So the largest army in Afghanistan is a pipsqueak. It's just a drop in the ocean compared to the rest of them. So in free markets, as we discussed earlier, you don't have any artificial suppression of the diseconomy of scale phenomenon. Yeah, so the largest firm is not has single digit market share. By the way, firms that have, even in the modern world, I can show you data on this that I've extracted myself. So, industries that have the lowest levels of government intervention pretty consistently, the largest four players together have single-digit market share of that industry, as opposed to the more regulated industries where it gets to be 80, 90 plus percent market share.
But I could just turn around and say, okay, you guys all outnumber me if you team up, which one, you all have to team up. But two, and there's a sort of an obstacle to that. But two, I could just turn around and say, well, look, this case is worth $100,000. Do you want to go to war with me and, waste millions or potentially billions? Or can I just kill whoever I want? Like, can I just do whatever I want? And I think that the cost-effective measure is just to allow the CEO to do whatever they want.
In this scenario, though, I'm sure you would agree, number two would be invalidated if number one is solved. And fortunately, as it happens, number one is solved. There's historical precedent for that. So when you say all the other firms would have to team up, that's exactly what they do. And it doesn't look like all of them getting together as part of a giant conspiracy to cover their asses. The way it actually looks is an elaborate backup contract network kind of a framework. Here's how it works. I enter the market of security. I'm starting a small private army. As soon as I enter the market, it's immediately incumbent on me to make sure I can't just be rolled over by whoever has a bigger army.
But
the way I do that.
What's the historical precedent that you're citing?
Historical precedent, there's various versions of, actually, there's a lot of instances of the same basic game theory being applied. So within the Brehen system, you had surety contract networks that operated on this mutual backup contract framework, as well as alliances between the Tuatha, such as the Alliance of Ulster and so forth, that operated on the exact same basis. You even see this today amongst American prison gangs do this. The basic model is that I'll back you up, you back me up, but I'm not going to back you up unconditionally. That would be suicide. I'm not going to agree to that you can go rape and pillage and do whatever you want and I'll back you up. No, I will only back you up insofar as you're doing everything possible to avoid conflict. I'll back you up as a defensive measure. I won't back you up in the process of aggression, because if I back you up in the process of aggression, I'm incentivizing you to go commit profitable crimes knowing you can externalize the cost to me. That doesn't pay me. That hurts me. So I won't do that. What I will do, I will agree to back you up insofar as you're doing everything possible to avoid escalation into violence. And the outcome of that is that you have to be amenable to arbitration. You have to be willing to abide by court outcomes and so on. As long as those boxes are checked, I'll back you up. The implication of this is that in any given conflict, firm A, that's being a belligerent, aggressive outlaw firm that won't play by the rules, that won't agree to accord and abide by the outcomes, they're on their own. Whereas the other firm that is playing by the rules, that is amenable to court, that firm has the backing of not only its own contract partners, but their contract partners and their contract partners. It ripples and extends out into a broader network that ultimately encapsulates the entire market. So it is the rest of the market versus Elon Musk's company. Which Elon Musk would know, by the way. He would be aware of these general dynamics and would not actually try it. And historically, you don't see them trying it. And whenever these kinds of alliances, these kinds of mutual backup contract frameworks are created, like, say, in American prisons between the gangs, violence plummets. And whenever you have, in some way or another, a decentralization... Go ahead.
But in a prison, it exists within a framework of, say, the top-down hierarchy of, prison wardens and things like that. Who is acting as the prison wardens in this scenario, in this analogy?
Well, prison gangs in this scenario, they're not obedient to the prison warden. You're not allowed to be operating as a prison gang. So yes, there is, in a sense, a monopoly on force in prisons in that the government administers the prison, but their activities as gang members in the prisons are not sanctioned by that, are not allowed by that, by the government. So even, I guess you could say, when there isn't quite a monopoly, or when there isn't quite an absence of a monopoly on force, there is kind of a de facto absence between prison gangs in the sense that they're simply disregarding the authority by nature of what they're doing as prison gangs. They're disregarding the authority of the prison. Now, it has been done when there's nothing comparable to the prison warden, such as in medieval Ireland or medieval Somalia and so on. You also saw this between the war bands of Zomia, and they did anything remotely.
Be right
Go
back.
ahead. I was actually about to hop off real quick. Well, I shouldn't say real quick. I'm about to hop off night.
You're gonna have.
I said I was going to be brief.
You getting off?
I'm getting off.
Have a good night, man.
You too. Sorry if I was kind of feel like I was steamrolling a little bit.
Good night.
Don't do drugs.
What?
See, now, so are you an ANCAP now?
No.
That's
no,
crazy.
What?
How do you organize towards your goals?
Ideally changing people's mind.
And then what?
And then, slowly privatizing the state over time, abolishing more parts of the state and privatizing its functions.
Yeah, but when you privatize, you're taking the corrupt parts of the state and you're putting it into the corrupt hands of the functionaries of the state. Like take like
if you
England's
privatize
railroads,
functions of the state.
Yeah, so like for example, the rail system or electricity system in a lot of countries has been privatized, and it's worse. It's like
By what metric?
worse for consumers. So, for example, in like England.
I mean, fundamentally, when you have electricity that is run by private companies, those companies want to make more than what it costs to run it.
Yeah,
and
McAllister's
they're-
is worse. He's failing to consider all the externalities. Because his sense of better isn't actually what's efficient for the market, because the market always finds the most efficient solution. So he's just presupposing that like one good might be a certain way, and to be a certain way is prima facie axiomatically good. But that fails to consider the network of considerations and a market solution. So it's just naivety.
I'm sorry.
What I was going to say was,
it's naivety to point out the poor service that's provided.
Yeah, the level of service that's optimal for the economy is selected by the market, and it might not just be the greatest level of service. That just might not be the market efficient solution. But you're unwilling to contend with that because you have these preconceived notions, because you're naive.
well, I wouldn't say
So
that.
the optimal market solution is a shit service.
Well, that's your
Yes,
opinion.
yeah, like when things happen, right?
Okay.
Goods and
It's a shit
services well
service.
move around, right? For
Yeah,
instance,
so the optimal
horse-drawn carriages are
shit
shit,
service.
right? The price and value you get for a horse-drawn carriage is shit right now. Why? Because we have cars, right? Obviously, the market is going to reallocate goods as it sees fit, and you're just coming at it with this like god complex, as if you know like what the best level of service is. But obviously, the market selects the best level of service.
So whatever the market selects is automatically the best level is what we should get.
Markets are efficient, dude.
Well, markets don't
What an
select
idiot.
for anything. All it does is it's individuals who are acting in the market, and these prices that arise from these transactions represent.
Excuse me. Be right
what-
back. Be right back.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say that they represent what individuals want. So, you're not wrong when you say that. I guess I'm just being autistic
You
a
should
little
tell them
bit.
the market is a living creature.
So, are you an ANCAP now?
No,
Oh, why not?
because I was considering the ANCAP perspective on civil litigation and copyright, and I wasn't convinced.
Oh, well, what's wrong with copyright? I mean, I'm against. We're against copyright.
Why are you against copyright? I think that's fucked up.
Well, because the idea of owning a non-scarce resource doesn't really make sense, because ownership only applies to scarce resources. So to say that you own an idea would be to basically inflict somebody else from using their property to copy that idea. So in other words, right? Let's say you come up with a new cartoon, right? And I decide to copy that idea. I had nothing that was in your possession was forcefully extracted from your possession because you did that, because I did that. So there was nothing stolen from you. And I would
why
say,
wouldn't we want co-CN bargaining on secondary or derivative goods?
what do you mean? What do you mean?
For instance, if I'm like polluting on your land, ideally the sort of like right to not be polluted should be something that we can bargain between. I should be able to sell it, lease it, license it, mortgage it out.
Well, yeah, but that's a
It sounds
tangible
like in your
good.
system we can't do that anymore.
But that's a tangible good. Land is a tangible good.
No,
It's a
like
scarce resource.
Waiver.
Land
No,
is a
it's like
scarce resource.
liability.
Yeah, but
No,
land
it's
is.
not the land of this resource. It's the act of the pollution on the land.
But
And
you're
if
yeah,
not,
but
the
you're what you're
compulsion of the state
allowing.
to enforce it.
But what you're allowing is if I say that you're allowed to poop on my land, you're polluting my land, right? But you're not violating my rights because I'm allowing you to do it.
Yeah, but I should be allowed to sell the right to pollute on my land.
That also applies too. So for instance, if you come up to me and say, "Hey, I want to let my dog poop on the land," and I say $50 every week, and I say I'm okay with that, then that's fine. But the difference, like between that and say like a cartoon, is that your land is a tangible resource. It's something that is excludable. It's physical, whereas an idea is not a tangible resource. It's something then which can be used without taking away from another person. So for instance, if you own a plot of land, me and you can't both exclude each other from the land, right? So if I want to claim the land and you want to claim the land, we both can't claim the same land. So both of us, my use of it would exclude your use of it, right? Whereas an idea, it's not the same. If you give me an idea, my use of it doesn't take away from your use of it. I'm not taking anything from you in the physical sense or in the, I'm only just copying you.
I should be allowed to sell promises, right?
Well, it depends on what you mean.
Like, I should be able to sell promises, right?
Well, give me an example.
I promise to, I don't know, talk to KingSithis tomorrow in exchange for $20. I sell that for $20.
Okay, so I give you $20 to talk to me tomorrow. Basically.
Oh, making me broader. It's more like a contract. Like,
Well, yeah. Now that's fine, and the reason why that is because you're doing something for me. You're using your body, which is a tangible resource, in order to do a service for me in exchange for money.
no, but you can imagine maybe a more broad promise or a broad contract where it's actually that I will talk to KingSithis or some other group of people, and you have some discretion there. And maybe you bought that promise from me for $20, but then you sell it to someone else for 30. Like we should be able to do that, right?
Well, yeah, of course, but I'm not sure how that applies to an idea.
And it's like
because
like
that's I would just say that's just selling a service, right?
we're selling a promise. The promise can be broad, right?
Yeah, but you're not promising. You're making a promise to do something in exchange for something. That's an exchange. There's an exchange there.
Upon the execution of the promise, right?
Well, I mean, assuming that's what the
The
contract
right to
it
cash
entails,
in.
assuming that's what the
Yeah.
contract it entails. But what you're talking about there is an exchange, right? We're not talking, a promise in itself. Like I could promise you, hey, I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. But if there's no exchange, you don't have to follow. If there's no contract, then there's no rights violation in regaling in that promise. So I could say, I promise you that I'm not going to cheat on you in 2 weeks, and then I have sex with another person or something like that. That would not be like a contract violation. So it would not be a rights violation.
Why would it not be?
Well, because there's no contract there. It's just a promise.
Why would there not be a contract there?
Well, you're not really exchanging anything.
But isn't there like it's not just good consideration. There's also a familial consideration in that, like, if you make a promise to like someone you have like a relationship with, that promise can have consideration not via like purchase, but via
Well, you
familial
could promise
ties, right?
promise something for someone without it being a contract necessarily. Like,
Well, the difference is consideration, right?
what do you mean what do you mean?
The fact that it was an exchange for something. Like the difference between a promise and a contract is a promise is an exchange for something else. Like you get the
Well,
promise
you could
for
make a
$5.
promise. A promise is just like I say I'm going to do this, or for another or like it's some sort of an agreement between two people. But a contract is a like some sort of an exchange of goods and services between two people, some sort of scarce resource. So like you could promise to
the
do
contract
this.
could be an exchange of promises, right? Like I could agree.
Assuming
I could
if
tell you one promise for another promise, right?
it would have to be in relation to some sort of trade of goods and services.
What do you mean? I could promise to like speak to, I don't know, KingSithis, and in exchange you would agree to talk to Kalendor.
But I would consider
maybe.
that to be an exchange of some
That
sort
would-
of
that would be-
service.
both of those promises would be contracts because they were bartered for, which means
Yeah, but
that there
that's
was
why I would consider.
consideration.
That's why I said I would consider that to be an exchange. If it's an exchange or
But
of
those
some
are
sort of good or
contracts, right?
service. Well, if it's an exchange, then yes, it could be of some sort of good or service. So if you say I'm going to do this for you, if you do this, then that's an exchange of a service.
But the thing that makes the promise the contract is just the consideration, right?
Well, a promise is just an agreement, like, or like you're just saying you're going to agree to do something. That's what a promise is, and a contract. A contract is an exchange of some sort of scarce resource. So not all promises necessarily have to do with a contract.
But you would agree that all contracts are promises, right?
Oh.
I don't know. I would have to think about that. What do you think, Belle Delphine, Defender?
Yeah, a contract is a conditional transfer of titles. That does
So
not
I guess
be
you could say
promised.
yeah, probably,
You're
because
just,
you're
you're
promising
just transferring.
to give
just
that thing for
transferring,
one thing, right?
You're just transferring one title to another, right? So if I have a pear and you have an apple, right, and we in a contract with NB, I exchange these two, right? So now you own the pear and I own the apple.
No,
right?
that's not a contract. That's a barter. What are you talking? It's an exchange.
It
What are
would
you
be an
talking about?
exchange of property titles. That is definitionally a contract.
Yeah,
That's not
so
a contract.
well, yeah, your contract is I give you this in exchange for this. That's the contract.
No, that's barter. You could agree
so
to
that's
like
still a
hold those
contract.
fruits available.
Well, that's still a
At
contract.
a further time.
A barter
Well, to
is
the degree that you're
a form
making a
of a
promise,
contract.
A barter
No.
is definitionally a type of contract. Even under status definition,
not.
you go look this up right now. It's definitionally a subset of contracts.
You can look it up in the restatement. It's not, or the UCC. It's not. No one understands it that
UCC.
way.
You're welcome. Go look it up right now. Won't support
I
you.
don't need to
A
because I
barter is-
already know, and it's written.
Yes, a barter is a type of contract. There's nothing that supports your.
Wait, so I'm actually curious about that. Could you precisely define barter just so I can understand the framework we're working with?
Barter is I give you
Barter
this in
agreement.
exchange for that, right?
Well, I want to hear what Belle Delphine thinks.
It's just goods or services that would be exchanged. There's just no money in a barter economy.
Goods and services being exchanged. Like, could you give an example? Well, like I
Sure.
trade you one apple for one pear.
Yes, that would be an example. Yes.
Gotcha. And all contracts are of the form of one good for another good, or one service for another good.
I would say all contracts are
Or a service
exchanges of
would-
property titles. I wouldn't
or a
say
service.
services are bought or sold.
The exchange of titles.
Yes, they're exchanges of property titles.
So suppose like we have like a work contract where I have a clause that's like I agree not to work for any, like a non-compete. Could you cast that within your framework?
No.
You can't. That's not a contract.
You can only say, well, if you do this, then you transfer title X to Y, for example.
So to be
That
clear,
would just be
non-compete clauses aren't contracts in your view.
No promises. If there's no exchanges of the property titles, it's not a contract.
So
The
a
only
non-compete
thing-
contract isn't a contract, Belle Delphine. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not.
Yes, that's what I'm
I want to
saying.
hear what Belle Delphine says. Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
So your understanding of contract isn't one that's compatible with like any currently existing system of contract law, right?
Yes, our title transfer theory of property of contracts is.
It's a
very
bespoke legal theory that, I mean, it may be. Can you point to a single currently existing contract law system that at all resembles what you're talking
Since
about?
specifically here to the Rothbardian contract theory, no, I could not.
Maybe
Well,
Uganda,
Stefan Kinsella
maybe,
is one guy we could
Uruguay,
point to.
Maybe Chad, maybe the Congo. Have you looked there?
Just look at Stefan Kinsella. Look up Stefan Kinsella. He's really good at.
You wouldn't be
Oh
able.
no, I
you-
know where it is. It's in Minecraft Society. You were playing a lot of
Yeah, so
Minecraft
you
server. You
are-
had this
okay,
system
so-
there.
So a normative theory of property can't be refuted by saying there's no empirical evidence of this being tried.
Well, because you're making it a descriptive claim, right? It seems like you were, but now you've backed off. So I'm glad we've got that clarity.
I'm really
here.
not. I'm really not.
Well, I'm glad we got that
Saying
clarity.
that
here,
within
'cause I was
our
talking to
contracts-
KingSithis in a descriptive frame, and then here you are normatively loading your objection, which is just completely inapplicable. So I'm glad we got that
Listen,
clarity that like what you were
it's
talking about was a complete non
descriptively true.
sequitur. It
Yeah,
was a
but
complete non
no,
sequitur. It was a
me-
complete
what-
and utter non sequitur.
Wait,
Squarely
so God,
irrelevant.
wait, stop
Contract.
interrupting.
Agree on-
Stop. Let
me and
Bella
KingSithis
Delphine
agree
say
on
what
contract
is.
theory.
Go ahead,
Me and
Doug.
Sithis agree on contract theory. We're talking descriptively within our normative framework.
It's
but the
just what we
discussion with-
agree with.
that prior to coming the call was one purely descriptively. So your normative like addition was just irrelevant. It was a non
If we're
sequitur.
talking
No one asked
descriptive, if
for
we're
it.
talking, yeah, we reject the idea that contracts are legitimate in the
Yeah,
eyes
we-
of the state.
As in me
Yes,
and
we
him.
reject that state property is legitimate, for example.
We weren't talking about any legitimacy.
wouldn't-
We're doing a descriptive view of as it currently exists. Mainly, I mean, we could have
Yes,
at a later
property
point
and
talked
property
about
and
it.
contract are inherently normative, not descriptive. There's no descriptive view of here.
No, we mean capital C contract in the sense of how it's enforced in a country like the U.S. That was
Yes,
the
we-
descriptive view.
We're,
we were
we're
taking.
anarchists. I don't know if you know about that.
Yes, we reject
Yeah,
the
no,
idea of this completely.
Yeah, the anarchist
So I
isn't one
don't.
who
I don't give a
denies
single. I
the
don't,
descriptive existence of the state. They just don't like it.
Yeah, we don't view it as being legitimate. We don't consider it to be legitimate.
A contract theory presupposes a property theory, and a property theory is normative.
Yeah, it's a normative
Okay, do you
framework.
think contracts exist in the U.S., Philadelphian?
Yes. Contracts do exist. There are exchanges of titles.
And there's like a
I
broader
think there are
capital C
many
contract
of
that's
things that
broader
people
than, like,
view
the
to be
US,
contracts that
right?
are not contracts. There are
In
plenty
your
of things
sense.
that people view to be contracts that are not contracts. Correct.
Yeah, in your sense.
Yes, and we are correct.
I mean, insofar as you're speaking purely descriptively, that you've like carved out two types of contracts, capital C contracts and lowercase c contracts, I don't think you've contradicted yourself. But to come into a purely descriptive conversation about capital C contracts and insert your lowercase c, prescriptive contracts, I think that was a tracking failure.
If we're talking about how contracts currently work in the model, in the how they're currently legally enforced by the state, then we're purely talking descriptively how that's not how we're discussing it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I know Sithis was building off of our contract theory when I was.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was talking. I mean, when I was telling you about, how promises don't necessarily make it a contract and things like that, I was building off of the contract theory that me and him both agree on.
Yeah, but it's interesting to like see like where the ideas end, and I think the shortcut here is a little bit misguided.
Well, we're anarchists. We're going to tell you what we believe.
Yeah, but you, as the anarchist, agree that the U.S. exists. You just don't like it.
Of course, we just don't.
Disagree
We
that
don't
the US
consider it.
exists is not to be
We
an
don't
anarchist.
consider it.
Don't feel like a madman.
Legitimate. Yeah.
contract.
I mean, slavery at a time, they considered that to be a contract, whereas I don't consider that to be a legitimate contract.
Right.
I hope you would agree.
What's your opinion on civil law?
We believe in
Civil law,
natural
yeah.
law.
If it aligns with the natural law, sure, but most of it doesn't. So.
We love the NAP.
There are plenty of current status like legal theories. Like there are plenty of them that align with natural law, and if so, we believe in them. If they don't, then no.
What does KingSithis think of like the civil law system in the U.S., for instance?
I believe in the non-aggression principle. I think that should be the law.
But I'm asking, like, to what degree does the civil law system we have in the U.S. Accord with your virtuous view of law?
You would need to be more. You would need to be specific.
I don't know, bro. Haven't read the civil law. I can't. I'm not sure how to answer that.
Do you know what a lawsuit is, Mr. KingSithis?
No, I've never heard of it.
Okay. So what's your opinion on lawsuits in the U.S.?
I think you should only make a lawsuit if the person is initiated force against you.
What does that mean?
That would mean damaging your property, or your person, or your property. Which your body is your property.
Means they violate your property rights.
Is Mr. KingSithis in favor of defamation lawsuits or no?
No.
Is Mr. Sithis in favor of like?
You could call me Sithis if you want.
Like which torts does Mr. Sithis endorse?
Like I said, anything that has to do with some sort of initiation of force against another person or their property, or their body is their property.
Slander is not a form of force, right?
No.
Gotcha. What about like abuse of process?
What?
You need to be specific.
What do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean by that.
Like, what if I were to commandeer a civil process for a purpose for which it's not intended, and get unjust fruits against a defendant? Would it be, in your opinion, okay for the defendant to then sue me back for abuse of process?
What is the specific?
I'm not sure how to answer that.
But what is it specifically you did here?
Does that matter?
Yeah, because it matters here
Well,
whether
of
or not you
course.
violate some kind of property title. Because that's the only thing that matters here in law.
Yeah, we only care if there's an aggression going on. If there's no aggression going on, then we don't consider it to be a rights violation in any way. If there's no victim, there's no crime.
There's no victim, there's no crime.
It's the same reason why we believe legalizing drugs and prostitution and stuff like that.
Can the state be victimized?
Only people can be victimized.
the state doesn't actually like exist. So
It's not a
the state
person.
Can't be this. Just like the state can't aggress, the state can't actually like. The state can't be a victim.
And the collective will of the people be victimized.
No, it can't.
I don't think there's such a thing as
why
a
not?
collective. I don't think there's.
The collective will cannot act. It cannot be victimized.
Yeah, I don't think there's such a thing as a collective will.
Why can't I license out my rights? It seems weird. Why can't I like sublet my rights to the state?
What do you mean? It depends
Like
on what you
and,
mean.
You know, me and like 300 million of my friends collectively lease out their rights to the state, and that gives the state.
You can do that,
powers.
but the state is forcing me to
Yeah,
invest
then the
too.
state-
But I don't want it to.
Yeah, hold on.
Absolutely could be victimized.
You're welcome. You're welcome to consent to the state. You're not a victim. However, there are this subset group people called anarchists who don't agree to the state. So
Mhm.
we would be.
No, I'm just curious. Like, to the degree that you aggress on the state, are you not aggressing on the people who leased their titles to the state?
Oh,
Well, just because the will of the
But why
people.
can't I sublet titles?
Well, just
I thought I
because.
could.
hold on. What you would need to be? What property title is violated?
So I think I have like a title to not be hurt, right? Or not be aggressed on. That's like something I own.
You have
Right?
a property claim in your body, Craig.
We don't
I have a
disagree with
property
that.
claim on my body. Yeah, and so I also have a property claim on my land.
Correct.
We
And
don't
I can
disagree.
lease those property claims to the state, right?
If you wanted to.
You can't transfer the title to the state. No.
Like I can't sublet it. Why not?
Like the contract itself would be illegitimate. Because the state is not actually like a contractor.
Oh, can I sell property to companies or only to individuals?
Well,
companies are not,
companies are run by
Like,
individuals.
the state doesn't actually exist. Like companies don't actually like. You can only.
So
Like,
a company
ownership is
can't own a
individual.
title.
Right.
It's the person who owns
A
the
company-
company that owns the title.
A company also can't sue,
It's the person
Individuals can sue.
who owns the
Individuals hold
company.
titles.
and a company
That
also
sues.
can't contract. Like two companies can't enter into a contract.
Individuals can enter in a contract that are in.
The companies can't.
The company, unless there's an individual owner, which generally is not the case, then no. Individuals enter contracts within companies. This is not.
Wait, so why don't we like companies now? Like, what's the problem there?
We don't have a problem with companies.
It's
We're
not
just
that we
saying
don't
it's not a
like
person.
companies. It's just not an actor itself. Like it's.
When what happens is what he's trying to say is that when a company sues another person, it's not a company. A company's not a person. It's the person who owns the asset that is named by that company, right? So when one company sues another person, it's not a company suing another person. It's a person who owns the company that's suing another person who owns another company.
So suppose we have like a company that's being traded on a stock market, and it has 40% of shares in one place, 10% owned by one person, and it's a very interesting ownership structure. How would that company bring suit? Or could it be sued, or would I just sue individual shareholders, or how does that work? Do I sue the majority shareholder?
You would
What if
sue
there
the
isn't a majority shareholder?
CEO. You would sue the CEO, and the shareholders basically pay the CEO to run the business, and they
So
own.
the CEO is personally liable for all the doings of the company?
I mean, to a certain degree, yeah. He's responsible for the decisions that he makes while he's under running that business. Yeah.
But he bears the brunt of the entire company, right? All lawsuits at the company are at the CEO.
Bell, do you know the answer to that?
Like
I
hold
think
on,
it's
I
yes.
just got a I just got a notification from someone. I'm debating something else here. This retarded guy just. Let me hold on. I have the copy paste of the.
I think he's using
here.
ChatGPT. Let it load
No,
up.
I have a copy paste
Hey,
from
ChatGPT is
Sulu's
slow
article.
today.
Oh,
I can
Zulu's article
directly
on how
source you to
companies.
the article that I'm giving this from.
No, it's not
Okay.
ChatGPT. I can vouch for that.
Oh, he hasn't understood the article though. That's why he has to paste it. Because if he understood the article, he'd just recite it, the ideas from it. But he doesn't actually understand it.
Yes, I'm going to because I'm not going to recite it because I have to respond to this real quickly. So I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going to
well,
do the little thing regarding
Well,
companies.
take care, gamer. Take care. You got this. This is the peak of the AnCap, I guess.
I don't see why you hate us so much. We did nothing wrong.
Hey, I have nothing but admiration for intellectual titans like that.
Well, thank you.
No.
But we did nothing wrong.
Well, I'm just curious, like, could you maybe, like, for a second, like, put your brain into neoliberal mode and, like, work within the neoliberal frame, or is that, like...
But I'm not a
not possible?
neoliberal.
Yeah, but, like, sometimes you gotta understand the enemy, you gotta put yourself in their shoes to sort of destroy them from within, right?
Do you want me to read what he posted, or?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm just, like, if you put yourself in neoliberal brain mode...
I'm not a
like
neoliberal.
Yeah, but it's like hypotheticals. Like hypotheticals don't predicate on the real world.
Okay, so let's hypothetically, let's say I'm neoliberal.
And that makes us different from the animals, right? Because the animals can't do hypotheticals, but we can.
I am neoliberal Sithis. Go ahead.
Yeah. What's our opinion on the Ethan Klein H3 lawsuits?
I think what he's doing is wrong.
Do you actually? Why?
Because those people didn't do anything warranting any kind of to warrant any kind of lawsuit.
Do you know the claim of action?
If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, I guess there was a female and some other guys that were watching his live stream and telling them not to watch the actual video and instead watch their live stream, and he's suing them because they were taking away traffic from his YouTube video, and that was like a copyright claim, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think what they're doing is wrong. What he's doing is wrong.
Gotcha. Why is it wrong?
Well, because they didn't do anything wrong. What did they do wrong that warrants him taking their money?
I think it sort of gets at the heartland of Tor in that those parties were like intentionally harming Mr. Klein.
So what? Harming him in what way?
Sure, economically for one.
What thing that was in his possession that was forcefully taken from his possession because she recorded or live streamed that video?
Sure, but not for that, flagrant restreaming attempt. Mr. Klein would have made more money. This damaged his income.
I'm not sure how you can own money that is not in your possession. If you're saying, oh, I would have made more if somebody hadn't competed with me, well, it's just like, yeah, that's every single business.
No, it's more like any action taken with the specific purpose to sort of economically harm you, and there's no other purpose whatsoever. That's tortious. That's bad.
I don't think so. That you could say that about any business that copies another business's good. If you come out with a fidget spinner and I come out and I copy it with the purpose of putting you out of business, I'm not violating your rights in any way.
But that fails the sole purpose test, right? Because the sole purpose of the business, or the predominating purpose in that case, is for the new business to make money. Again, Denims wasn't making money from the stream. She did it solely to sort of be vindictive.
So what?
That sort of sole vindictive purpose, preeminating all other purposes, coupled with its inevitability of causing economic harm to Mr. Klein, is sort of the beating heart of Tor, and it's
she hasn't taken anything from him. All she merely did was live stream herself watching a YouTube video.
I mean, you would agree, but for that live stream, Mr. Klein would have made more money, right?
He's not owed money that isn't already in his pocket.
But granted, but for that live stream, Mr. Klein would have made more money.
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
Hello.
And the express stated sole predominating and dominant.
I don't care. I understand your argument. I do.
Was to enact that. There was nothing
I don't
else.
care. Yeah, I don't care. And the reason why
That's malicious.
So what? He didn't steal anything from him. He didn't violate his rights in any way. You should watch my YouTube video on intellectual property, or Zulu's video on it,
There's
too.
another related tort that's like tortious interference in business dealings.
He hasn't violated his rights in any way.
No, it's
You
like, it's
should
like
be
you can-
allowed. You should be allowed to live stream yourself watching another person's video.
No, the sort of moral principle here is like the exercise of spite is just not permissible. We don't want that. It fosters a
I
bad
don't care.
society.
We? Speak for yourself.
You don't want that. No one wants
I don't.
that.
I do.
It's a
I
good
don't. I do
vaccine.
want that. I don't want people to be getting in trouble for watching a live stream or watching a YouTube video. That's
It's not
ridiculous.
the mere watching. It's the fact that it's a express.
What
act
else
of
did she
spite.
do? What else did she do other than watch it?
It's not the mere act. It's the purpose described with the act, coupled with the effect.
Dude,
the act has on Mr. Klein's
everybody,
economic-
every single person and their mother reacted to that video. And he's targeting those people because he doesn't like them. That's some
He's targeting
nonsense.
he's targeting those people because they did so with vindictive purpose.
So what? Who cares?
That's tortious.
He hasn't
That's
stolen
the hardest
anything.
part.
What thing that was in his possession that was forcefully taken from his possession because they reacted to a YouTube video?
It's not about property. It's about this deontological
So you can't
principle
say
of vindictive behavior.
Vindictive behavior? So people shouldn't be
Exactly.
allowed to compete with other people even if it's vindictive?
If your sole preeminating purpose is to harm another,
So
for
what if I
vindictive
buy up a
spite.
bunch of people's stock and then I start going around giving it out for free and saying get it from me for free and not get it from this other people because I don't think you should get it from these other people?
I'm not sure about the details of that example, but if we consider it broadly that like one could do an act with spiteful purpose, solely spiteful purpose, an improper purpose of spite.
Proper purpose
and I
of
think if that's-
spite?
Yeah, and then I think if there's like a nexus between that improper purpose, namely spite.
What if-
and
okay,
there
so how
being
about this?
material harm
I
to
have a
the-
3D printer. You came out with some new sunglasses, and I decide I don't like you as a person. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 3D printer to copy your sunglasses and sell them and give them out for free because I don't like you. And I'm going to say, come to me and give them out for free. Come to get it for free because I don't like you. I shouldn't be allowed to do
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, that's tortious interference in
No.
business.
That's nonsense.
spite-driven,
I
absolutely.
haven't done anything to you. I merely used my property to copy your product.
Even in the case where Mr. Klein didn't have an exclusive right and he did, but you don't recognize that. Even then, the fact that your sole preeminating purpose was malicious.
You could say she was an
and
asshole.
that it was coupled with material
You
harm
could say
to
they were an
the defendant.
asshole, but being an asshole shouldn't be illegal.
It's unethical.
You could say it's unethical, but being unethical shouldn't always be illegal.
Yeah, but the sort of purpose of law, or at least to some people, see
Like I
it,
think,
is to
like
sort of
for
make these
instance, I
ethical-
think that cheating on your wife is kind of unethical. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah,
Should that be illegal?
it could be depending on some other policy
No,
considerations.
I'm not
but
asking
absolutely.
could. No, I'm asking should. Should it be illegal?
Under some circumstances, yeah.
What? Come on, get out of here. You don't believe that.
It's just a
Come
policy
on.
question.
So like, okay, so let's say if
Policy.
somebody cheats on their wife, they should go to jail.
In some circumstances, why not? Yeah.
So if a woman cheats on her husband, she should go to jail.
In some circumstances. Again, this
come
is just a policy
on.
question.
Come on.
The sort of
There's
practice
no way
of
you
law
believe
is
that.
to institute
Aren't you like
the
a liberal?
ethics of the
What are
public.
you? You're not like aren't you like a liberal?
But there's important policy considerations here, Mr. Sithis.
Okay, but that's a ridiculous policy. You got to admit that. That's silly.
It being ridiculous to you doesn't mean that it is objectively without merit.
How is it not silly to lock people up for cheating on their spouses?
It seems disproportionate, but
It's
the
completely
principle
disproportionate. You haven't done anything wrong.
it's disproportionate in most cases, but there could be cases that merit it. And
Like
there
what?
are cases, probably.
Like what? Give me a case where it's okay to throw someone in jail because they cheated.
In that it like severely hurts. Like if the court's already been intervening, and there's sort of like a court order for like how do we deal with like the two parties and how we deal with their kid, and there's sort of like a family law consideration going on, and one party just flagrantly flying in the face of the family agreement. At that point, I think jail time is appropriate. For instance.
Yeah, I just disagree with you on this. I don't think that's I don't think that's. I
And we
think that's
do actually lock
ridiculous.
people up for violating family law.
Yeah,
court
that's
orders all the
ridiculous.
time.
That's totally
No,
ridiculous.
it's not. 'Cause
If you're cheating on somebody, you haven't done anything wrong to that person to warrant any
I mean, the
restitution.
family law context.
I
the only
don't
consideration is
care. I
interest of
don't
the
care.
child.
I am not a statist. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm
But yeah,
sorry.
Wait, could you argue from the perspective of someone who believes in IP, or is that like beyond your capabilities?
I feel like it's inconsistent to say you support IP and then be against that. No.
You think that if you believe in IP, then you have to agree with Mr. Klein's lawsuits?
Kinda, yeah. It would be inconsistent.
What about the argument that like Mr. Klein's lawsuits were brought for an improper purpose, and so merits aside, they were like unethical?
Well, I mean, if you consider IP to be legitimate, then you would have no choice but to say that those people
That's not
kind of
true.
stole from him.
You could have like a general maxim that like to bring a lawsuit for an improper purpose is bad.
I mean, then what would be the purpose of considering property right, an idea to be a property right? If somebody steals it, then you would have the right to take action against that, right?
So, for instance, we don't want people suing for purposes of harassment, even if they have a valid claim. Nor do we want people suing for like bargaining power, even if they have a valid claim. Right. So the fact that you just have a meritorious claim doesn't give you carte blanche license to sort of sue someone. There are other considerations, namely your purpose in bringing the suit, that restrict your ability to do so, and sort of infuse
Have
this
you
like
seen
private law
Ashes of
construct with
Creation?
important public law policy.
It's a new MMO on Steam. It gives me classic vibes. Try it.
Namely, that the state.
I don't know,
shouldn't be
bro.
co-opted for
I can't
iniquitous
even
purpose.
I can't even like argue for this because I don't even believe any of this.
Well, that's troubling because if you can't argue your opponent's side, you probably don't understand your own argument.
Oh, I understand my argument. I just don't think it's consistent to the opposite argument side.
Because like I can usually argue like both sides on any issue because it's like it's not really hard. But if you're finding yourself unable to
I'm
do
sorry.
that,
I'm sorry. I'm an ANCAP. I'm an
Are you just like
ANCAP.
a low decoupler? Like
Yeah,
are you
I'm a
feeling
low
like
IQ
you're a
ANCAP.
Low decoupler,
Yeah.
low decoupler, low IQ.
Yes. Yes.
You know, animals can't do hypotheticals.
I guess I'm an I guess I'm
Counterfactual
I guess I'm an
reasoning is
ape.
when you gain it like age 7,
I guess I'm an ape.
age 5. So like,
I
if
guess
you're more like a 4-year-old than
I guess I'm an ape.
an ape. Yeah, I don't know if the apes can do counterfactual reasoning. Maybe not.
Okay.
The apes can do object permanence though, so they got that.
I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I mean, are you familiar with like equitable, like the law of equity?
Law of equity?
Mm-hmm.
Equity is fucking gay.
No, I don't mean like everyone's equal in outcome and like we're not discriminatory. I mean like the English Court of Chancery.
No.
Okay, so like back in the day, there were 2 types of courts. There were courts at law and courts at equity, but in America we fused them. So all courts are courts of law and courts of equity, and equitable principles are like unclean hands. There's these like fairness doctrines that can sort of preempt legal claims. So like even if you have a strong legal claim, if it's highly unjust, a court can sort of not do it just for that ground alone. It can sort of short circuit the law. There's actually an analogy in like how juries work, jury nullification. If like a legal claim, albeit sound, is like so iniquitous, the jury can just stop. If that makes sense.
You make
And
my
so I think
head
the argument
you make
here
my
is
head
that, like,
hurt.
Equitable principles of would bar Ethan's claim here.
I think that Ethan is wrong for what he's doing, and he's just upset that these people don't really like him and talk a lot of shit about him. So he's just trying to find a way to get at them using the law, an unjust law.
Would you have a problem with it if it were a just law?
I mean, if they were legitimately violating his rights in some way, yeah, of course I would be okay with.
Suppose like everyone is like spitting on Mr. Klein's lawn, but it turns out that Mr. Klein doesn't like denims, and so Mr. Klein is like, "Hey, denims, I'm going to sue you for spitting on my lawn, despite the fact that everyone else spits on my lawn."
Did
Would you
she
have a
do it
problem with
though?
that?
But did she do it?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
then yes.
absolutely. Every
Yes.
day,
Yes.
no problem.
No problem. No. She spit on his lawn. What do you expect?
Yeah, but there's sort of like there's so many problems there. There's imagine for instance Ethan was spitting.
Come
Evan's lawn.
on, get out of here with that nonsense, okay? You kidding me? If she doesn't want to get lawsuit for spitting on somebody's lawn, maybe she shouldn't spit on somebody's fucking lawn. How about that?
Yeah, but Ethan spits on Denim's lawn, so it's like an.
Well, then
unclean
maybe
hands
she
thing.
should have took him to court.
But neither can take either to court because they're both doing it.
Yes, they can. It just would cancel
No.
each other out.
No, they shouldn't be because unclean hands. They should be barred from bringing their claim.
I'm pretty sure we'll just cancel each other out. The
It's like
restitution
one of
will
the
just
most
cancel
common
each other
lawsuit
out.
defenses is unclean hands. It's like an equitable defense. It's
Oh
like,
my
I'm
god,
sorry, but
you
you
make
can't bring
me
the
want to
suit 'cause you did
kill
the same
myself
thing.
with this
it's a
nonsense.
no you. It's a no you. Tu quoque.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ethan Klein is wrong. Period.
Yeah, but you think he's wrong for the wrong reasons.
No. You think
You
I'm
think
wrong?
he's wrong because copyright's wrong, but what
Absolutely.
you should consider is he's wrong not because of copyright's wrong, but even if copyright were right.
No, you're just mad
wrong
because I
because-
don't disagree with him because of your reasons. I disagree with him for different reasons.
I'm not mad, but you're wrong.
You're just no, I'm not wrong. Nothing that I'm not wrong at all.
You are, because like even if copyright were right, you could still say he's in the wrong, but you don't agree there, and that's incorrect.
If you violate someone's rights, it doesn't matter if you're like picking somebody out. Like if they did it, I think you should be allowed to sue them. Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, the main argument is like the state shouldn't be caught up in injustice, and so if
It's
you're
not
trying to, like,
injustice
use
if
the state's
it's not
power,
injustice if the person did it.
there absolutely can be meritorious suits that are
No.
unjust.
No. It's not injustice if the person did it. I don't agree with you on
What do
that.
you mean? There's like externalities in the suit of like discovery, the cost of it, the cost of defending it. They can be asymmetric. Like it's more expensive to defend against a suit than to bring one, right? And so these cost asymmetries lead to abuse, even on meritorious claims.
I mean, if you say so.
Do you disagree?
Yes, of course. Of course I disagree with you. That makes no sense.
There's never once been a meritorious but unjust lawsuit ever.
A gerbil
If it's
is trapped
merit-
in my
if
boyfriend's
it's-
butt and can't get out. Should he keep feeding
Think it
it
has
milk
merit?
with a medicine
Sorry,
dropper?
somebody just put some
Oh, you're
weird
good,
shit in
Judy.
my comment section.
Oh, shit, you getting hate mail? The haters gonna hate.
No, I
Mr.
think that's
Smith, why are
ridiculous.
you
If
so
you
bad at
if you
World of
commit the
Warcraft?
crime, then I mean, it is what it is. You know, you don't want to do the time, don't commit the crime.
Do you think there's a, do you
My
think, like,
boyfriend's testicles
prosecutorial
were bitten
discretion
off by
should
a
be
camel recently.
a thing or no?
Should I marry?
What was the question?
Do you think prosecutorial discretion is a good thing?
I don't know.
Basically, the attorney general is saying, I don't want to take this suit because I think it's bullshit. Like, yes, he fucking broke the law.
Well, I
but
think
the
if he
law is not gonna go
if a
after him.
private court doesn't want to take a case, they should have the right to refuse it. Yeah.
How would the ideal Mr. Sithis private court work?
It would be private.
Yeah, but like, would it resemble our courts, or would it be different? Would it be more like mediation, or how would it look?
It would be it would probably be similar to what we have now, but just, you know, done privately and more efficiently.
We already have private courts, you know,
Well, yeah, it would probably work similar to that.
and they suck, no?
No? What would make you think that?
Like, there's no appeal opportunity. Half the decisions are split the baby decisions. It's more expensive than public court, and
Public courts
not public.
are funded through theft. So, yeah.
Was the British Museum funded through theft?
Did they use taxes to pay for it?
No, but they stole the artifacts.
Well, then, yeah, of course.
You would have the British Museum return the artifacts to Africa.
Hell yeah.
Okay. Based in equity pilled.
I'm not sure that's equity, though.
You're like one step from becoming a Bernie Sanders fan, Mr. Sithis.
I hate Bernie Sanders. That guy's fucking gay.
I mean, he's right on everything, though.
Are you kidding me? Name one thing he's
No.
right about.
Socialism?
Socialism is terrible.
It's what?
It's terrible.
That's what you think. But Mr. Bernie
Yeah.
knows better. He
Yeah.
sees farther. He thinks better. He has more wisdom. He's lived longer as well. He's somewhat of like a sage.
Bro, why
I'm
the
just thinking
fuck
about,
is
like,
this
the
guy
amount of
asking
life
me about
and-
ashes of creations? Do I look like a fucking nerd that plays
it was
fucking
like-
MMOs?
Yeah. You ever play RuneScape?
No.
Because it's like it's not
It's not capitalist enough.
ANCAP. It's not ANCAP pilled. I see.
Yeah.
Is Minecraft like an ANCAP video game?
Maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends on how the people act.
Oh, I used to play on this Minecraft server, and we would like trade items, like barter. Is that ANCAP?
Well, ANCAP is just an ideology, so
Like, what would an ANCAP Minecraft server look like?
I guess you would have to have a group of people who, believe in the NAP and, like to trade with each other or, sort of leave each other alone and not fight and support.
So suppose like I build my Minecraft house, and then in the night, someone comes over and brings TNT and a creeper and blows it up. What would like the ANCAP server response be?
He would owe you restitution, hopefully.
How would I prove it's him, or who do I prove it to?
I don't fucking know, bro. Do I look like
Would
I
there be
run a
would I have to
Minecraft
petition a
server?
court?
I don't
Yeah,
fucking
would I
know.
petition the Minecraft court, or what
The
would
fuck
I do?
am I don't fucking know, dude.
Can
The
I just
fuck kind
take
of
action on
question
him
is
without
that? Do I
petitioning
look
the
like I
court?
play
Do I have to
fucking
prove it there?
Minecraft?
No, but like, what if I don't know exactly?
That's
who
actually
did it, but
funny because I
90%
actually
sure?
run a Minecraft server. But,
Is it ANCAP?
yeah, but I don't even play on it. It's for my friends.
I see. No, but like, if someone aggresses on me, can I punch them back, or do I have to go to a court first?
You would be allowed to punch them back if they punched you.
Is it like my choice? Either's good.
Yeah, it's your choice. Why wouldn't it be?
But what if I'm like 90% sure the guy who blew up my house is like one guy, but I'm actually wrong, and I just retaliate by blowing up his house or burning his house down with flint and steel, and now like I got the wrong person.
Well, then you would owe that guy restitution because you fucked up.
And
Because you fucked
so would it
up.
make more sense for me to petition the Minecraft court first?
Probably.
Would it be bad for me to go after someone without petitioning the court first?
If you do, you better damn sure make sure it's the right person. If not, you're gonna owe that person restitution. Because
Okay,
you
but
just,
now what
you
if
just
what if the guy I burned down the house of with flint and steel doesn't actually
what
know
the
who
fuck
did
is
it?
up with all these fucking questions, man, about Minecraft? You
This
make me
last
want to
one,
kill
you-
myself. I swear to God, bro.
Yeah, but you see how this is an infinite loop now, because person 3 thinks
Yes,
it's
because
person
you
1,
you
person
keep want to
1
ask
thinks
me to
it's you.
answer these
You think it's
questions.
person 3.
You are asking me these questions about Minecraft. I don't play Minecraft anymore.
Yeah, but the ANCAP principle is invariant to the Minecraft server.
Bro,
or the
go
game
read
mode or
a
the
book
video
on
game.
ANCAP, man. I'm too tired for
Minecraft
this.
is commie garbage.
Yeah, that's a bunch of communism.
True.
Why don't you
Are
go
you an
read some
ANCAP?
Rothbard?
True.
Notch sits in the corner and watches his girlfriend get fucked by femboys.
Actually, I'm the one fucking the femboy.
Me too.
Let's go.
Are you an ANCAP, Jamie?
Well, I'm a libertarian nationalist, so it's a little bit different. I
Do you believe in the
a,
NAP?
You fucking racist.
I believe in ANCAP for the domestic population, but when it comes to foreign domestic trading, I believe in a more nationalistic policy and a more fuck other nations policy.
Oh,
if that
got
makes
you.
sense.
So you're a racist. Got you.
I'm not a racist. I'm an anti other countries person.
gotcha.
So it doesn't matter
So
whether
you-
they're
you-
white
so
or
you-
black,
so you hate the
right? If
browns,
they're British,
gotcha,
I say
gotcha.
fuck them as equally as if they're African. Does
Got-
that make sense?
No, yeah, I get it. You hate the Browns. Got you. No problem.
But Jamie,
No, it has nothing to do with white or black or brown or yellow or
you
whatever.
got white, you got black, whatever you want. No, I get you. Wait, Jamie, the NAP though, you believe in that shit, right? It's like the Pledge of Allegiance. Every day you say it, you sing it. I pledge allegiance to the NAP. For which
To
it
the, I
stands.
pledge allegiance to the nap.
Then I don't
Arcane
I don't
wow.
take naps. Sleep is for pussies who don't work hard.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, bro. Gotta be out there doing some fucking work.
Wait, so Jamie,
Out
like,
there fucking femboys, yeah.
yeah, true. Wait, Jamie, like, if you were running like a libertarian Minecraft server, and someone like blew up your house,
Oh
like,
my
what would the
god.
appropriate response be?
As a libertarian nationalist, the appropriate response would be to put them to death because they have violated the borders of my nation.
Yes, they violated the nap.
But if you're within the same Minecraft nation,
Yeah, they woke me the
what would the
fuck
response
up,
be?
and so then I chopped their head off with an axe. A
But
diamond.
they're in the same they're in the same nation though.
They're in the same nation?
Right.
Well, they'd go to jail.
Yeah, they go to jail.
How would you prove?
They go to Minecraft jail.
Yeah, but like to whom would you?
You
prove
put
the
you
guilt?
put some obsidian around him and leave him
Well,
without a forklift, pickaxe.
This is like a false dilemma here because like in the society that all of us exist in within like the countries and all of the world, even the poorest country has like over 100,000 people in it.
Right, but to whom do you prove the guilt of the person who blew up your house? Is
The
it a
mine-
There's
the
only two
Minecraft
of us
court.
that exist in the world itself. It doesn't matter. It's whoever has the might is right. If there's only two people that exist in the world.
No, but
Whoa,
in this
whoa, whoa,
Minecraft
whoa! You
society,
shouldn't say
there's
that as a
quite the
libertarian, bro.
population.
You
If
shouldn't
there's
say
only
that.
two people in the population, whoever has the might is right because whoever doesn't is getting thrown in jail or blown up.
You shouldn't say that as a
Is
libertarian.
that like a prescriptive claim or a descriptive claim?
That's a descriptive claim.
Okay, cool. Never mind.
Yeah. You want to say that's definitely a descriptive as opposed to prescriptive because that would make
Yeah,
it.
because there's only two
honestly,
people in the
I
hypothetical
just
world
wanted
that
to
you've
make-
proposed.
I'm just making
Wait,
sure
Jamie-
the framework's set up.
Jimmy, would it be fair to see a relationship as like a two-party country, like a two-person country in a way, or no, Jamie? Would that be unfair?
If you're dealing with two men dating each other, sure. If you're dealing with a man and a woman dating each other, it's two countries dating each other. It's like
see.
American Israel.
Huh?
This is interesting.
What?
How do you apply the nap to your?
Yeah, because if you're a man and a man dating each other, you're on the same team. If you're a man and a woman dating each other, it's
I left that room. I was getting bored with those people. I got a warlock, a warlock, a warzok. Arcane WoW. Isn't that like a private server? Or am I tripping? Hey, what's going on, Draco? Gotta get you on this Turtle WoW. Well, I'm not playing Turtle WoW right now, but... who needs World of Warcraft when you have Turtle WoW? Ew. What is that? Pea water? Diarrhea water? Alright, I'm gonna need 33 copper. No, I did not hear about that. That would be really good if that's true. Allowing for us to use different currencies as opposed to just using the United States gold. I mean, the United States currency. That would be really good. Anything that reduces state power is good under my chart. It's good under my book. Well, then up yours. Guy left me on my own. All right, nice. Very,
I
very,
guess
very
he
good.
thought you were doing a different quest.
Yeah, probably. No, he knew what I was doing. He just didn't want to do it. I'm playing on a PvE server, so I don't have to worry about getting ganked, which was really annoying when I was playing before. Man, I wish I could go faster. Gnomes. I hate gnomes.
Maybe if you were a blue hedgehog.
Maybe. That would make everything way easier. Nice. I survived that very easily. I'll be right back. All right, back at it. Cool. Now I can summon Void Walkers. Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Yo,
What's good?
not much.
Just waiting for people to jump in, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty interesting conversation with the guy with the Chinese letters for his name. Not very smart guy, but whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck, I need 33 gold or silver in order to buy that. Oh, well, thank you so much, Lo-Fi, for the hearts or whatever you sent me.
LOL.
I appreciate it. Alright, time to go kill some things. Kind of boring, there's not many people joining.
Yeah.
I guess people don't care about us AnCaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to do something, man, to get our name out there, man. Maybe we should, like, go
This classic.
Yeah, this is classic. Maybe we need to go streaking at a, like, really big event with an AnCap flag.
Yeah.
And when arrested, just scream, Viva la Liberty! And Capistan will rise.
Right.
And people are gonna be like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And then people are gonna look us up, and then more people are gonna figure it out.
Good morning.
What's up, Ann Capri
Yeah.
Sun? That's a funny name, Ann Capri Sun. I saw
know
this.
that guy.
There's another guy whose name is Ann Capinas.
You sure it wasn't A. Capine? I think that was it.
I don't know. I met this guy named Ann Capinas.
I think it was A. Capine. Another guy.
I'm super sleep deprived TBH.
You're sleep deprived. Shit, dog.
So am I. I mean, it's 7 a.m. right now.
It didn't. Yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Yeah, me too. Well, it's not that late, but it's pretty late for me right now. Now I can summon a Void Walker. Alright, now let's go fight some stuff.
Capitalism is really exploiting us right now.
Yeah, capitalism definitely is exploiting us right now. It's exploiting me by forcing me to play World of Warcraft. This capitalism has brought me so much abundance. Maggot's Eye Paw. Walking around in World of Warcraft Classic kind of takes a while.
It does.
I mean, that's why you see me walking around a lot in my gameplay if you ever watch it. Some people actually really listen to these debates. Some people message me. So I feel like this has kind of become my call-in show, you know, where people call in and, you know, in the old radio shows where people would call in and debate people.
Hmm?
I feel like, yeah.
I didn't play WoW for years.
Oh, bro, you should play WoW with me. You should, but play Classic WoW and Capri
Right.
Sun.
Walking simulator.
Yeah, it's a walking simulator, pretty much. Yeah. Or I should say waddle simulator with this guy, because he's kind of waddling. I was thinking about spending $100 on a Guitar Hero guitar. Just so I could play Guitar Hero. Yeah, man. I miss Guitar Hero.
I used to play on these pirated servers.
You should try Turtle WoW. Turtle WoW is the best one. I want this wizard hat that he has. See the wizard hat? I know you can't see it, but the chat can see it. I wonder how you get the wizard hat. Oh yeah, I realized that at level 13 you can get you can start the dungeons. But a turtle while it actually
I should got to sleep now. Have a nice day.
Oh, have a good night, man. It's good to see ya. Turtle while it actually takes longer to level up. Even though it has more quests, it still takes more long to level up. The Lich's spell book. Damn. Playing a warlock is pretty damn easy, not gonna lie. I really need to get some drinking water for my character. Shit, bro. Fuck, I'm so dead. Hello. Divorce.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't fun, bro. Makes me want to kill myself. Where are all the people at? Nice. Yo, doing quests with this character is so easy. What should I name? Maybe I should change the name of the room. What should I name it? Yeah, how about that? Abolish ICE. Now we gotta take the long walk back.
I have exactly what you need. Goodbye. And you are.
Eva Ben,
Hello.
thanks for the follow.
How are you?
All right, guys, have a good night, guys. I'm heading to bed.